Hoi! It's louisity again, and for this video, well, first of all, if you folks notice, I kind of have like a different setup because, living with parents, they kind of decided to mix things up in my room, so it's just how it is. So for this video, I know it's been quite awaited, I'm kind of overdue with this one, but I'm going to be sharing to you folks the great reads of 2019 of louisity, or in other words, my great reads for 2019. Hurrah! So let's just say overall this year I had quite a handful of great reads, which is pretty good. So let's begin. So let me begin with the reads that were rated 4.5 out of 5 stars. I'm going to begin with More Happy Than Not, which is written by Adam Silvera. I listened to this in an audiobook, and this is like one of those books wherein you would say it's a hard-hitting contemporary. It just really hits you so hard. And when I was listening to it, there were times when some parts didn't make sense or it was all blabbery and all, but for the most part, like the emotions are coming out of it, the whole struggle of wanting to remove everything, everything that you remember in the past, going to the Mateo facility, how our main character wants to forget that he's gay and all, and just the entire flow of the story is just so hard-hitting. And I know that I've heard that Adam Silvera, sorry, I got a little tongue-tied right over there. Adam Silvera kind of knows how to deal with being like hard-hitting and dramatic. It's just like, I'm sorry, but I feel like I'm a broken record player of saying the word hard-hitting because it really hit me so hard. Like, it's just how I felt. Like when I was reading it, was like, oh my gosh, so many feels, but it's just so beautiful. This is how I felt about it. Up next is a book that I read when I was doing the Asian Readathon, and technically it's a manga, or a manga, but I still count them as books. So what I'm talking about would be Pokemon Sun and Moon. Now, the manga, the one that I read, it doesn't really follow Ash and the other, characters that you would see in the Pokemon Sun and Moon series, television series, but it was just a pretty light read, I felt nostalgic about it, going back to, my fond of Pokemon, and I actually included this in my wrap-up / collection of book reviews, so I'm going to be linking it down below. Now this is another 4.5 out of 5 read, so yay! And the next one would be another book that I read during the Asian Readathon in 2019, another 4.5 out of 5 read, The Vegetarian by Han Kang. Now, this is a story originally written in Korean and was translated in English. It's actually the prompt that was used for me to be able to read this book. And overall, like, the quirkiness of like the story is so beautiful. I like it when at times reading stuff that are, that give you some sort of a critical or like a radical way to think on things. How, our main character here wants to give up like eating meat because of a dream, and suddenly because of this she's having this mentality of wanting to be a plant. And the way the transition of it is pretty interesting. I actually included like a book review, a mini book review or / wrap up in the Asian Readathon wrap up, so I'll be linking it down below. Well, of course I already said that for the Pokemon Sun and Moon, but anyway, so I just found like the oddness of it, the quirkiness, very great. Now, as I said, if ever that you guys won't be watching the other video, there are trigger warnings for animal violence. There's like a part here, like I said, that is like in italics, so if you're uncomfortable reading about animal cruelty or animal violence, you can just skip that part. But anyway, I just love how, quirky this is. I can't, this is just my take, I can put Hong Kong in like the hall with Paulo Coelho because their works are pretty interesting. And I'm glad that I bought this in Singapore. Up next is a very recent read. Well, I read this towards the end of 2019, and it is a book written by a Filipino-American author. It is Randy Rebai's Patron Saints of Nothing. So this book, especially if you are from the Philippines, it would make you think a lot, brood, contemplate on what's happening. And all throughout the book, for me, because personally, there were things here that I didn't necessarily agree upon, and there were some things that may come off as problematic, and there were times here that I read some typographical errors. But, just for me, if you are making me think, reflect on things, and, agree or disagree about things, and it's actually a great thing about a book. When it stimulates your brain, I think that's one thing that this book was able to do, and one thing to kind of like reflect on our morals and our ethics, what it is to be a Filipino, what it is to be our identity. Are these like the level of like contingency, or because we all know that there are things that these are just labels, but like which of these have impact on us, on being like Filipino, being American, or whatever it is that label that you're probably thinking right now. So I think it's very important that, in a way, for me, that's what I'm getting, more than the whole drug war scene that was being talked about, So I like it. I like hearing these voices. To me, like, let these voices have their opportunities to be heard. You don't necessarily have to agree with them. It will make you think, and that's a good thing for a book. Reach and speak your voice, hurrah! Another book that I read during the Asian Readathon. I am definitely grateful that the Asian Readathon was launched in 2019, and I read a lot of great books, during that time. Now, another one would be a Philippine historical fiction, and that is entitled Bone Talk by Candy Gourlay. Now, I believe Candy Gourlay is already based in the United Kingdom, but she's a Filipino and decided to write a historical fiction kind of like depicting the American colonization of the Philippines with indigenous tribes. So I definitely like, I guess because I was able to kind of connect with it, and it was just really awesome, like the way it's just fast paced, yet you didn't feel like it lacked quality, it lacked the excitement, it lacked the thrill. I just felt joyful reading it, about the pace of the story, how, it could be quite intriguing, all these events, these mysterious, like, who killed who did this, and who did that. It's very interesting. It's actually a great book, and I hope that this gets more international recognition. Another great book that I read towards the end of 2019, honestly, during December, I think I read a lot of contemporary books, and it was actually one of my best reading months because I really enjoyed reading them. Now, I know that I'm really a contemporary kind of holic, but I just feel so glad that I really enjoyed them. Not just like they were pretty good, but they made me think, and they unleashed emotions out of me. And I'm talking about Permanent Record. I actually filmed a book review of this one, so you guys can just you folks can check out my thoughts on this one. But it would just make you reflect on things. It's like a mix of cuteness, at the same time, the focus of the main character, Pablo, is just something that I personally can connect with in some way and made me think about all the things that I want to do in life. And if, like, I actually heard this from this story over, and I agree. If you feel like you tend to be lost in life and you want to read a book that kind of shows or will help you on reflect on what you want to do in life, this is a good book. You folks gotta read this one. And I'm happy that I technically enjoy this more than Emergency Contact. I enjoyed both works, and I'm just happy that it just got better, you know? So kudos to you, Mary. So my camera just died, so now I am using my phone. So yep, I'm gonna go now to our 4.75 out of 5-star reads. So first off would be the second book in the Heroes of the Olympus series, Son of Neptune by Rick Riordan. Now, it has like almost all the elements compared to The Lost Hero, and if you folks have watched my Great Reads of 2018, you would see that Lost Hero happens to be like a favorite of mine. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and this one only got 4.75 because the only thing that kind of lacks about it is that like little spark or that magic that I felt in Lost Hero. Perhaps maybe because this one focuses more on the West Coast, you know, California, Oregon, Washington, then there's like British Columbia, there's a little bit of Yukon territory in Alaska. So I felt like there were not so much travel compared to, like there's not so much, you know, traveling, touring to different places. I was, you know, thinking more of that, perhaps. I was like thinking that could have been the reason why I enjoyed Lost Hero more, because there were a lot of places they went to in different areas as opposed to like having a focus in one. But it still is pretty cute, you know. Percy and Hazel and Frank was really nice meeting them. They kind of add more to the story, the way that they were like, I'm not really much of a character-driven person, but they kind of give a boost to it, so that's kind of a plus. I mean, I guess that's just how Rick Riordan writes, and I guess just the flow of it, like how the world was built. Like I've always loved this world, like the Camp Half-Blood, you know, the Heroes of the Olympus world. It's very lovely, and the way that they were just being described, you know, I think it's all about that, the way how things are being synthesized, how the events go, how the actions go, you know, not something that's too blabbery and all. So, and honestly with Mark of Athena, it was quite blabbery for me. But yeah, still a pretty good one. I still would love to continue the series. I have yet to read the 4th and the 5th book, so yay, yay, yay! Next would be a book that I borrowed from my aunt / uncle, because I think my uncle owns them, but my aunt kind of like takes care of them. Anyway, I'm talking about The Firm by John Grisham. Now, compared to the other video, I have a great book written by John Grisham that I read this year, so kudos, it's a balance now. Now with The Firm, you know, to me, this is the epitome of a thriller / mystery, you know. A lot of the books that were tagged as mysterious or like thrillers were missed for me. I'm talking about Sadie, Truly Devious. They lacked that element in that department. Their stories were written okay, but as like thriller books, they have a lot more to kind of show. And it doesn't necessarily have to involve anything gory, because with The Firm, it's not really a gory one. It's more of a business kind of thriller or mystery, wherein, you know, the story kind of follows about, you know, there's this young lawyer who's trying to jumpstart his career. He's a brilliant Harvard law graduate, and he doesn't know that the law firm that he applied for, you know, has, you know, some underlying secrets. And those underlying secrets, it makes you curious, you know, like, who are these people? You know, it gives you that intrigue factor. It was written in a way that it will give you that. Compared to the other books that I read, it didn't make me feel that way. This one, oh goodness, like I wanted to know what's happening in the next pages, and so there were times when there were some disconnects, but overall, it's an amazing book. I am super glad that I read it this year. It's already a film, and I actually created a review of it because I totally enjoy it. I definitely, truly think of all the adverbs that you can think of. It is super great. Hurrah! And now it's time for us to go to the 5 out of 5 reads. Now, for 2019, I was able to read 3 books that are just like 5 out of 5 for me. Like, if they have flaws, they were so good that I didn't notice them. Like, they just didn't make me notice it, okay? I mean, I just did, like, period. Anyway, enough about it. Let's talk about the first one that I read that is a perfect 5 out of 5, and that would be Rich People Problems, which is the last book in the Crazy Rich Asians trilogy, written by Kevin Kwan. I have a full review of it, plus a little like snippet of how I found the series overall, so I'm going to be linking it down below. Now, it's just that throughout the book, it was intriguing. It was a good blend of the elements of it being kind of like light, laid back, funny, fluffy, and serious, like mysterious and, you know, business-like, formal, and all of those other elements that are different compared to the ones that I said earlier. Now, it's just like when I was reading this book, as mentioned in my other videos, you just don't know what to expect. And yes, if you would like to know a little bit about the Philippines, there's a little bit of something here, and you'll see what I mean if you if you would read this book. So, I don't know why I get a little tongue-tied these days, but I guess I'm just so thrilled, you know. Feel free to check out my book review of this. Hurrah! The next one is I am rating this perfect 5 out of 5, and not because he is a fellow booktuber / ACLA-tuber. Now, he also wrote a book, and this was published before, I believe it's still there, still in Wattpad. But yeah, it was first in Wattpad, and now it is published. I'm talking about Culto by Gerald Gruezo, aka Gerald the Bookworm. Hurrah to us ACLA-tubers, and I'm super happy that, you know, this book is published. And what else can I say? Yeah. To me, out of all the books that I read for Philborgs, I think this one is the one that I really enjoyed, like genuinely enjoyed. The other ones were okay, quite rambly. The other ones were just like, and then like the others were just like, yeah. For Philborgs, what I noticed is that in 2019, we read a lot of books that either are mystery or thriller or have those elements. This one has it. This was the only book that was able to kind of like, pierce, shoot, aim, you were able to hit, nail the bullseye. Yeah, I'm talking about bullseye to this book because it was able to give me that intriguing feeling. It was written in like Taglish, and I don't think it's because of that made me feel that way, because I think it's just all about, you know, how things are synthesized. Like even with the verb, it's in English, but I was still intrigued. This one, I am definitely was intrigued. You know, I wanted to know what's gonna happen next. A little bit of trigger warning though, because there's some parts here that were quite bloody, so if you're not into that, yeah. But I don't really mind anyway, so I just enjoyed reading this. It was a quick read, you know, for a super slow reader like me. And I'll be linking down Gerald's channel below, so feel free to check him out, and if you'd like to be updated on his videos, click that subscribe button. Hurrah! The last in this list is just so heavy. Like, you know, honestly, before I filming this clip, I was just like thinking about it and kind of like thinking back on like what happened in the story, the events, like how it transpired, because it started out, you know, kind of heavy already, and then it kind of got a little cute, you know, the romance kind of got cute, and then later on it kind of got very, like, it will really hit you. It may even shatter you, you know, how these folks dealt with, you know, whatever they're dealing through in the story. And I'm talking about All the Right Places by Jennifer Niven. I already filmed a book review about this, so you can view that video if you want to hear my thoughts. I guess if I may have missed something, you know, it's just like one of those things that can make you, you know, realize and get that opportunity to hear a voice, because chances are there might be people who are going through what our characters have been through here. It was another one that is hard-hitting. Like, I can't say anything bad about it because I really devoured it, and it was just like the transition of it, it's just so real. It wasn't exaggerated for me, and it was, oh god, oh goodness, just thinking about it, especially towards the latter parts, it will just hit you hard. So it's definitely a perfect 5 for me, you know. It's just, it's still stuck in my head. I'm still kind of like trying to put all the events here in that story, and the ending, and the tour around Indiana. Wish I could visit Indiana one day. It's just really, it's just something that, if you want something that would really pierce you, you know, shatter you, definitely read All the Right Places. It's a beautiful book. It is indeed a beautiful book. Let me know down in the comment section some of your great reads of 2019. And so, these are mine. So I guess that's about it. If you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, click that subscribe button and hit that little bell icon somewhere down there to keep yourselves posted about my videos. Also, be putting down the links in my social media handles, so feel free to check me out and follow me there as well. As always, thank you super much for watching. Let us continue seeking for wisdom and unleash the reader in you. Bye y'all.